Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel. May 3rd, 2018.
The Kuhner Report is powered by Kelly Financial Services. Cleaning up your financial bull. Get the peace of mind that you deserve at Kelly Financial Services.
Can you say KGB? Okay, my friends. All right, it is breaking. It is absolutely stunning. I'm going to get right to it. 617-266-6868. Okay, here is now the absolute latest. I've got it completely now from every possible source imaginable. It has now been confirmed. The President of the United States has been secretly wiretapped along with his personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, for at least several weeks, if not several months, leading up to the raid in April, just last month, of Michael Cohen's office, his home, and his hotel room, where FBI agents, almost acting like stormtroopers, kicked down the door, literally kicked down the door, stole all of his files, all of his records, all of his business documents, all of his cell phones, all of his computers. They took everything. Much of it was attorney-client confidential privileged information. It now appears that in the lead up to that raid, according now to several sources, NBC News is reporting it, but others now are reporting it as well, getting it independently confirmed. It now appears that federal investigators were wiretapping the phone lines of Michael Cohen, listening in to all of his conversations. In particular, they've now had to admit, including confidential conversations with the President of the United States. They not only were wiretapping and listening into the president, they were listening into the lawyer, Michael Cohen, but they were also monitoring Michael Cohen's email accounts. They were covertly spying and reading his emails without him knowing it, and looking at any possible emails he was sending out, especially emails exchanged between him and the president. Now, furthermore, the question is why? Why? What crime was Michael Cohen committing? What crime was the President of the United States committing? What was it that the FBI, if you remember, urged on by Robert Mueller, recommended by Robert Mueller? Not only why did they commit the raid, but now we're finding out they were illegally spying on and surveilling the lawyer and the President of the United States, tapping their wires. The crime was allegedly, I swear to you, the hush payment. Again, we're back to Stormy Daniels, the $130,000 that Michael Cohen paid to Stormy Daniels. And so the reason why that they were monitoring the phone calls, surveilling the phone calls, spying, wiretapping, was because they wanted to know who had authorized the payment, who had actually done the payment, and did the payment violate some kind of campaign finance law, or was it a technical violation of campaign finance reform? And so because of this payment to Stormy Daniels, they wanted to see what Michael Cohen was going to do. Was he going to reveal anything to President Trump? Was he talking about it with President Trump? Was he going to admit to anything to President Trump? And so they were listening in on all of these conversations, allegedly, to go after Michael Cohen and eventually the President of the United States based on a $130,000 non-disclosure agreement that Stormy Daniels asked for, that Stormy Daniels got, and that she was happy with until she realized she could make millions more wiggling her rear end in strip club after strip club, selling a book, and maybe getting a Lifetime movie. I swear to you, this is the story. This is it. Now, A couple of points, and then I want to throw it open to you. This is now a massive development. I can't overstate how big this is. This, to me, I think changes everything. I mean, everything. And you want to sit down with this guy for an interview? A couple of points. Number one, without question now, our FBI has been so politicized, so corrupted, so co-opted by the previous Obama administration. It is clearly now so stacked with partisan hacks and the deep state that they are now openly at war with the President of the United States. They have now been turned into our version of the Gestapo, of the KGB, frankly, of the FSB in Russia. And I've got to say this. You know, you have the liberals and the Democrats and the mainstream media going on about Russia, and Vladimir Putin as enemy number one. They're turning our country into Putin's Russia. Their political opponents are destroyed. People are now being illegally spied on and surveilled. Elections are increasingly becoming rigged. What you're now seeing is really almost the Russification of the United States by liberals. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, how is this any different now than Vladimir Putin? I mean, you hate the guy, but you've got people like Seth Rich who mysteriously disappear, journalists who just are being spied on under Obama, the president and candidates who are being spied on, the FBI now working behind a veil of secrecy where they're clearly now abusing their power and now trampling on the basic civil liberties of anybody that they believe is an opponent or an enemy or a dissident of the regime. If this is not Putin's Russia, what is? I mean, I'm asking you honestly, what is? Now, a couple of other points. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that what Trump did with the hush payment to Stormy Daniels was a violation of campaign finance reform. It's a fine. It's a misdemeanor. I mean, literally, that's it. They're trying now to criminalize everything. If Trump fires Comey, the normal duties of the president or the executive branch, criminalize that. If the president of the United States wants to have better relations with Russia, criminalize that. If the president of the United States wants to do a non-disclosure agreement, which people in this country, hundreds of thousands of them are done every day, criminalize that. They're trying to criminalize politics. They're trying to now criminalize almost the normal functioning of life in a desperate effort to bring this president down. What this shows to me, again, they've got nothing on Russia. They're grasping at straws. If you now have to try to criminalize a $130,000 payment to a former washed-up, has-been porn star who claims that she had consensual sex once with Trump, who was then a private citizen. I want you to think of this. 12 years ago. Who got paid? Who signed the freaking NDA? She's the one who wanted to break the non-disclosure agreement. She's the one that's violating the NDA. And now we're talking about, okay, so Michael Cohen gave her the $130,000. Trump has now said he reimbursed Michael Cohen from his own personal funds. So now we're getting into a technical discussion about, does that constitute a campaign loan or a campaign contribution? Or is it just, a genuine non-disclosure agreement? By the way, lawyers will tell you that they pay on behalf of their clients every day. This just happens all the time. Okay, look, you're trying to extort my client, you're trying to make a name for yourself, you're claiming you slept with the guy 12 years ago. He just wants this thing to go away, doesn't want the exposure, the media, all of this. What do you want? 130? Donald, let me be honest with you. You fight this out in the courts, how much it's going to cost in legal fees. I know you're innocent. You didn't sleep with this porn star. I think just give her the $130,000 and just let her go away. Okay, yeah, okay. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. You don't need to know all the details. Boom, $130,000. Trump says, okay, thanks a lot, Michael. In my retainer, I'll just add a little bit more and then, pay you off. Thank you. God bless you. That's what lawyers and clients do all the time. They're trying to criminalize that? To me, there's a deeper issue now at stake. Okay? Forget the merits of this. It's like Robert Mueller. They're fishing. They're using this. It's such an obvious, even if it's true, even if he did violate a campaign finance law, it is so frivolous. It is so trivial. It's nothing. They're using it as a pretext to spy. To listen in, to listen to conversations, to listen to the president, to listen now to Cohen, to go through their emails, and to try to nail them on something that they think is bigger. Now they're openly spying on the president of the United States? That is so criminal, so illegal, so unconstitutional, so unethical, honestly, so un-American. The shadow government is at war against the duly elected president of the United States. That's what's going on here. What they are saying is, we will not allow the election of 2016 to stand. And we're going to overthrow you from power. And I'm telling you, we're going to get you by hook or by crook. And if I got a East German style, Stasi style, listen in on your conversations with your lawyer. If I got to do that, I'm going to do that. But I'm going to get you, buddy. Already, Stormy Daniels' attorney, who, by the way, Michael Avenatti, to me, a scumbag, ambulance chaser, shyster lawyer, if there ever was one, an openly avowed member of the Never Trump resistance, listen to this, is already gloating, saying Trump will never finish his term in office. Roll it, Jared.
Here's what I think ultimately we're going to find out. I don't think we're going to find out that this was confined just to email or voice wiretaps. I think they also, my understanding is that they were also wiretapping text message communications for the weeks leading up to the FBI raids. I also think that ultimately it will be disclosed that during these wiretaps, the FBI learned of means by which Michael Cohen and others were going to potentially destroy or spoliate evidence or documentation. Once they had that information in hand, that is what served as the predicate or the basis for them to be able to go in and get the warrants to search the home, the office, and the hotel room of Michael Cohen. This is going to be ultimately, I think, what the domino sequence will be. I think that Mr. Trump and Mr. Cohen, upon learning of this, are going to be very, very concerned to the extent that they were not concerned already. This is a very serious matter. I'm going to go back to what I've been saying for some time now. There's no question in my mind that Michael Cohen will be indicted for serious federal crimes relating to likely the $130,000 payment and other things. And I think that this increases the chances of what I've said previously. I don't think this president is going to serve out his term. I just don't.
And he's doing the rounds now. So they're already dancing on Trump's grave. Furthermore, Rod Rosenstein, that snake, is playing a key role behind the scenes. He's very close with Robert Mueller. He's very close with James Comey. Remember, Rosenstein, since Sessions recused himself, Rosenstein has been the acting attorney general. He's deputy, but he's the acting attorney general when it comes to Mueller and the Russia investigation. The House Freedom Caucus, a group of conservative Republicans led by Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows, have now filed repeated motions with the Justice Department, listen to this, to now have more transparency in how the Mueller investigation and Rod Rosenstein have been conducting themselves. And in particular, I want you to listen to this. They are now asking basic questions. How much is the Mueller investigation costing the American taxpayer? Rosenstein doesn't want to answer. The key one, it's called a scope memo. To set up this special counsel, you have to identify or define what the mandate of the special investigation can be. Is it Russia collusion? Is it interference in the election? Is it obstruction of justice for firing Comey? Is it payments to a porn star? In other words, what was the scope when you authorized Robert Mueller? What was the mandate and the scope, the definition of what he could do or not do, what he could investigate and not investigate? Rod Rosenstein refuses to disclose that memo. And so now the House Freedom Caucus has said, if you don't hand it over, we are going to push for you to be impeached and removed from your position. Because we as Congress have the right, the constitutional right, to be to do oversight, congressional oversight over the Department of Justice. You are an unelected bureaucrat. We are the representatives of the people. We don't work for you. You work for us. We have the right to know what you told Mueller, what he can or can't do, and how much all of this is costing us. Rod Rosenstein was at an event in Washington on Tuesday. He was asked specifically about this. Listen to his response. Roll it, Jared.
You know, we have people who are accountable, and so I just don't have anything to say about documents like that, that nobody has the courage to put their name on, and that they leak in that way. But I can tell you, there have been people who have been making threats privately and publicly against me for quite some time. And I think they should understand by now the Department of Justice is not going to be extorted. We're going to do what's required by the rule of law, and any kind of threats that anybody makes are not going to affect the way we do our job. We have a responsibility, and we take an oath. That's the whole point.
Extorted? Extorted? This guy is comparing Congress, I swear to you, to a mafia shakedown. What extorted? It's called accountability. It's called transparency. You have an investigation that is now tearing this country apart. It is now putting the president in mortal peril. Congress has the right to oversee the Department of Justice. That's its mandate, its constitutional legal right. And when they ask you, show us how much it's costing the taxpayers, what was the scope and mandate that you gave to Robert Mueller? This guy's saying that's a shakedown? That's, quote, extortion? Hey, enough is enough. President Trump, meet with Giuliani, and you got to start firing people. I don't care how you do it, but it's time to clean house. Okay, the president now secretly being spied on. What should the president do? And has the FBI now crossed the line? Your calls next.
Impeachment is about whatever the Congress says it is. There is no law that dictate impeachment. What the Constitution says is high crimes and misdemeanors, and we define that.
Okay, they're gunning for him now, my friends. If it's possible, the war has even escalated now to a more dangerous and intense level. It has now been revealed that for at least several weeks, if not several months, prior to the FBI's raid on Michael Cohen's office, home, and hotel room, Trump's personal lawyer, they were engaging in secret wiretapping of all of Michael Cohen's conversations, including his conversations with the president. The president was wiretapped. His lawyer was wiretapped. According now to, this is the story from NBC News. After the raid, members of Trump's legal team advised the president not to speak to Cohen. In particular, Giuliani, according to multiple sources, told Trump, whatever you do, don't speak to Cohen, because now that he's been raided, they're probably listening in on his conversations. He learned that days after the raid, Trump did not listen to Giuliani and that he made a call to Cohen, saying that Cohen is a good friend of mine. We go back 20 years. Trust me, I believe in him. I trust him. We're close friends. And Giuliani then told him, never do that again, because the call, he goes, I'm telling you, is being recorded by prosecutors. Okay, after the raid, you can obviously be suspicious that his phone is tapped. But now we know that his phone was tapped before the raid, weeks, if not months, both Cohen and the president. What should the president do? I want to know who authorized this wiretap. I want to know which judge signed off on it. And where the hell is Jeff Sessions? I keep asking that question. Where is the freaking Attorney General? Larry in Belmont, you're up next. Go ahead, Larry.
Jeff, I have a strong theory on what Mueller's going to try and get him on, if you can indulge me.
Go ahead.
Obama gave Mueller a gift several years ago. Do you remember Dinesh D'Souza? Forgive me if I messed up his name.
Yes, Dinesh D'Souza, yes. Well, they threw him in jail on a campaign finance violation.
That was a pittance compared to $130,000.
It was $10,000. It was $10,000.
Right, compared to $130,000, that's chump change, as Pelosi likes to say, crumbs. What he did was that activist judge set a precedent that Mueller can use. I'm not saying it's going to work, but I think that's what he's going to go for. He says, look, we put him in jail for a year for less than what you guys violated.
Larry, have I just...
It's a joke.
Larry, can I be honest with you? No, Larry, really, honestly, because I'm really shocked by this and outraged. Larry, have I just read, I'm serious, too many biographies of George Washington, watched too many Reagan State of the Union addresses. Maybe I have this immigrant's view of America. You know, the Constitution, you don't do that in a constitutional republic. Are you shocked that they were wiretapping President Trump on conversations with his own lawyer for weeks and not months behind his back?
After all the backbiting and the backstabbing and all these backroom deals you've been revealing for the last year, I wish I could say I was surprised, but no, it doesn't surprise me. They will stoop to anything. When they violated attorney-client privilege that's sacrosanct just to get this president, you knew all bets were off. They were going to go after anything they could, come hell or high water. They don't care. And they're not being exactly covert about it. They're being transparent. They don't care. They want him gone.
Larry, phenomenal call. Phenomenal. Okay, I'm going to take more of your calls, I promise. Okay, my friends, you don't want to miss this. Trust me. There are more details now coming out on the apparent wiretapping of the president and the president's personal attorney. Nick Bovey is in the WRKO newsroom. Nick, what are the latest details? 2:35 here on the great WRKO. Okay. The WRKO box office is now open. Be the sixth caller right now at 617-266-6868, and you can win a pair of tickets to the Boston Pops Leonard Bernstein Centennial Tribute. Leonard Bernstein Centennial Tribute, Tuesday, May 29th at 8 p.m. at Symphony Hall in Boston. For tickets and information, visit bso.org, 617-266-6868. Seventh caller, you get a pair of free tickets. Okay, my friends, Tom Fitton, and we're going to try to get him on either tomorrow or early next week. I'll do my best. Tom Fitton, the head of Judicial Watch, the government watchdog agency, the government watchdog group, tweeted this now about the bombshell story that's just broken, that Trump's his phone lines were wiretapped, along with that of Michael Cohen, his personal lawyer. For weeks and weeks, the FBI was secretly wiretapping them, listening to their conversations, and monitoring their emails back and forth before they launched their raid into Cohen's office, where they confiscated all of that attorney-client privileged information. Quote, outrageous. This is what he tweeted out. Outrageous. At Real Donald Trump's lawyer had his phone tapped and email accounts searched before the raid. Mueller out of control, shut it down. Rosenstein and DOJ also need to be held to account. Look, the real story here is you have a rogue Department of Justice. I mean, that's the DOJ, Trump's own DOJ, is now out to destroy and bring down the President of the United States. So we now have the deep state, the shadow government, openly at war with the President. That's the real story here. And so the question now is, if you're President Trump, what do you do? And if I were him, I would assume from now on, every conversation's being wiretapped. Every conversation's being spied on. Every email is now being secretly monitored and surveilled. In other words, you're no longer living in a free country. You're not. You're living no longer in the USA. You're living in the USSSA. 617-266-6868. Okay, lines are loaded. Eddie and Quincy, you're up next. Thanks for holding and welcome.
Hey, Jeff. Remember a year ago, Trump's phone calls got leaked, to the Australian Prime Minister
Yes.
and I think the Mexican President?
Yes,
I wonder how that happened. I've told you before, Jeff, I think they ought to start abolishing the FBI. I thought this was all taken care of after J. Edgar Hoover died, that they straightened it out and it was never going to be like that again. These people are out of control. They're not elected, and they're running the government. Hillary Clinton destroys 30,000 emails, and Trump's guilty of obstruction? I don't know. I just don't understand. I don't understand why people aren't pissed. And, the judges that okay this, the same kind of judge that says he has no right to bar people from Syria and Iran, etc. Well, of course he does.
Eddie, I think it's now very obvious. I mean, I know you know it, the audience knows it, but I think now really, I thought Larry hit the nail on the head. They're not even hiding it anymore. Have you noticed? It's public, it's open, it's naked. They're going to get him.
Yeah,
they're going to get him, and they're going to bring him down, and they don't care anymore. They just want him out.
Yeah, you had a call the other day about ideology. They don't care what the truth is or what the facts are. They're right, and we're all wrong. And progressives have been doing this for 100 years, and now they see this their opportunity, and they're trying to strike.
Eddie, thank you very much for that call. I really appreciate it. Steve in Braintree, you're up next. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey.
Hi, Steve. Hello, Steve?
Yes, hello. How are you?
I'm good. Go ahead. Hello, Steve?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, let's see if we can fix the phone with Steve. Tom in Lynn, you're up next. Go ahead, Tom.
It's a great show.
Thank you, Tom.
Great show. I'd like to speak to the deep state stuff, but before I do, I want to go very briefly off topic and say Ann Coulter had yet another temper tantrum a couple of 3 weeks ago, and you, employing metaphor and alliteration, totally deconstructed her with a mere 2 words when you described her as politically promiscuous. Perfect.
Oh, thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, now this business with the wiretapping. Can it get any worse? Yes, it can. The KGB, it's part KGB, part Stasi, but this goes back to Nazi Germany. In 1924, founded, first edition on Hitler's birthday, April 20th, Der Stürmer, the striker, the attacker, I'm sure you've seen it, the rabid, unrelenting attacks on Jews. And the principle, Julius Reich Stryker, the principle he used, if you will, as more a strategy or a tactic, was that es bleibt etwas immer hängen, which we translate as something always sticks. And that's what you're seeing with this whole, deep state. Oh, let me ask you a rhetorical question. What did you think when your colonel referred to Bolton as a card-carrying member of the swamp?
I'll be honest with you, Tom, and thank you for having the courage to ask me that. I was surprised.
I was too, because I know Bolton, you're a Bolton guy. I mean, Bolton wouldn't be where he is right now if not for people like you giving him a platform. And now what? He won't come on with you anymore?
Yeah, I've been very disappointed. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, I don't want to get sidetracked here, Tom, but
Right.
you know, I'm going to reevaluate. I want to think it over. I can tell you this: the Colonel is a patriot. The Colonel speaks from the heart. I have a lot of respect for this Colonel. So that one, when he said that, that one rang my bell, Tom. I'll be honest with you. But Tom, I don't want to get sidetracked. Look, thank you very much for that call. I really appreciate it. 617-266-6868. The President of the United States, we have now learned, had his phone conversations wiretapped with his own personal lawyer for weeks prior to the raid on Michael Cohen's office. Not only was Michael Cohen's phones, all of them being tapped, so were the president's. The FBI was listening in on all of their conversations, and they were covertly reading and spying on all of Michael Cohen's emails, including his email exchanges with the president. Now, I'm telling you, you really, I'm not going to, I don't want to overstate the case. I don't want to do that. We don't live in a totalitarian country. We don't. We don't live in a secret police state. We don't. Not yet. We don't. Gestapo doesn't come knocking on our door every night. We don't have concentration camps established across our country. It's nothing like that. But let me tell you what I think the line has been crossed. If they can do this to the most powerful man in the world, if they can do this to the duly elected President of the United States, the commander-in-chief of this country, then they can do it to you, and they can do it to me, and they can do it to anybody. And what you're now witnessing, my friends, is history in the making. This is the first slow-motion coup d'etat ever. And it's a coup d'etat through simply the use of the legal system and the use of the deep state in collusion with the mainstream media. That's what you're now seeing. The utter criminalization of everything and anything a president does in order to drive him from office. And their goal is to destroy this president and destroy anybody who supports him. Now, if you don't believe me, I want you to listen to this, okay? You have to listen to this. Michael Caputo was a low-level Trump campaign aide. He's essentially a political consultant from upstate New York. He's not a New York City guy, doesn't have a lot of money, he's not fabulously wealthy, but like many of you, like me, he was an America First conservative. And he hated Hillary Clinton, and he thought that Donald Trump and his agenda is exactly what America needed. And so he volunteered to join the Trump campaign and was a kind of minor campaign aide. For the last year, last 15 to 16 months, Robert Mueller, the special counsel, the Senate Democrats have now been interrogating him, interviewing him, investigating him, and he now needs to constantly have a lawyer by his side. He has racked up over $125,000 in legal fees. He just recently lost his home. He's out on the street. His kids' college fund is up in smoke. It's gone. They called him in again for further questioning on what he knew about Russia collusion. And as he openly said, there was no Russia collusion. Not only was there no Russia collusion, I knew nothing. I didn't do anything. I didn't contact any Russians. I didn't speak to people associated with the Kremlin or Putin. Frankly, nobody around me on the campaign did that I know of. It doesn't matter. They keep calling him back and calling him back. They've gone through his house, not that it's gone, but before. They've seized all of his phones, his records, his emails, his text messages. He says they know more about his life than he does himself. The last time they called him up cost him another $20,000 in massive legal fees. because they're out to get him. They want to indict him, but they can't indict him. And so he shouted at them, may God, damn you to hell. Every single one of you. He went on Tucker Carlson last night. He looks like a broken man. Honestly, he reminds me of some of the dissidents under Eastern Europe. I would meet them after they served their term. They looked crushed and defeated and destroyed. So there he was on Tucker Carlson, and listen to him describe the absolute nightmare of what it's like to be in the target of Robert Mueller and how they have destroyed him, destroyed his kids, destroyed his family, destroyed his livelihood. Roll it, Jared.
I'm not going to be friending them on Facebook today, if that's what you're asking. I don't find them to be very friendly people. What's it like to live in a country where, having not been charged or convicted of any crime, a prosecutor can threaten you to shut up in public? It's not nice, but I can tell you that it's nothing compared to the $125,000 in legal bills that I've stacked up for nothing. It's nothing compared to the death threats that my family and I are getting. It's nothing compared to the piece of a sniper rifle that came in the middle of my wife last month. It's nothing compared to the way that they're trashing my family. What's happening to me and my family is happening to many other people in this investigation, and I'm just a witness. I can't imagine if somebody's a subject or a target what they're going to go through.
So his life has been ruined, but listen now to him. This is an incredibly revealing interview. He then looks at the camera and tells everybody, I will never work on a Republican campaign again. Ever. Not Trump. Any Republican campaign. Roll it, Jared.
Every time I come to Washington for this bogus investigation, whether it's the Senate, the House, or whatever, I get to pay another $20, $25 grand. So they just bankrupt you. That's no big deal. Not just me. I think other people, too. I mean, a tin cup isn't a good look, but I've had to open a GoFundMe page. I mean, I certainly didn't sign up for this when I went to work for the Trump campaign, and I will never, ever work on another Republican campaign for as long as I live.
Why? Because as he puts it, if you work on a Republican campaign, the Democrats want to criminalize you and destroy you. In fact, listen to this one. Listen to this cut. Roll it, Jared.
This is a punishment strategy. I think they want to destroy the president. They want to destroy his family. They want to destroy his businesses. They want to destroy his friends so that no billionaire in, let's say, 15 years wakes up and tells his wife, you know what, the country's broken and only I can fix it. His wife will say, are you crazy? Did you see what happened to Donald Trump and everybody around him? So that's what this is about.
This guy, I mean, he spoke to God's truth. This is a message to anybody. You work on a successful Republican campaign again, we're going to destroy you. We're going to ruin you. We're going to bankrupt you. We're going to destroy you. We're going to destroy your reputation. We're going to destroy your kids, your family, your livelihood. And this will prevent any future billionaire who's rich enough to not be bribed by the deep state and the swamp to say, this is going to do, I don't need this. I don't need this. No, forget it. I mean, look, I know I'm worth billions of dollars, so they can't buy me. They can't corrupt me. But look what they're going to do to me. No way. Look what they're doing to Trump. I'm not going to do it. He's completely right. And listen to him give his final warning. This should never be said in a free society. Roll it, Jared.
I'm never going to work on a Republican campaign again unless somebody legally indemnifies me. Clearly, these lawsuits after the fact are the new Democratic strategy. When you lose, you still win. I don't think anybody should work on a Republican campaign again unless they're legally indemnified. I think if you do, you're crazy. My legal fees are going to be at least $125,000. That's more than I make in a year. That's more than where I live in East Aurora, New York. That's more than most people in my town make. And I don't know how we're going to pay that off, me and my family. But that's Washington money. That's New York money. Well, it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
It's more than disgusting. Even when they lose, they win. Let me repeat that, because that's what he said. Even when the Democrats lose, they win. They lost the election, doesn't matter. They destroy anybody in the Trump administration. They win. When they lose, they win. When they win, they win. That's not a democracy. That's a one-party state. More with your calls next.
This is a punishment strategy. I think they want to destroy the president. They want to destroy his family. They want to destroy his businesses. They want to destroy his friends so that no billionaire in, let's say, 15 years wakes up and tells his wife, you know what, the country's broken and only I can fix it. His wife will say, are you crazy? Did you see what happened to Donald Trump and everybody around him? So that's what this is about.
2:55 here on the great WRKO. Steve in Braintree. Let's see if we get the connection back. Do we have you, Steve? Hello, Steve? Okay, no, for whatever reason. Let's go to Bob. It's not working for today for some reason. Bob in Milford, you're up next. Go ahead, Bob.
Jeff, first I just want to say thank you for being such a great American. Second of all, I want to know what our game plan is, you know, once our duly elected president is overthrown by this regime.
Wow, Bob, you know how to get to the point, my friend.
Yeah.
That's the $64,000 question. I don't think I want to say it on the air. I'm not a coward. Because Jared said something to me off the air. I don't want to. Anyway, I want to be very careful. I want to be very responsible. Let me just say this. I really hope that it doesn't get to that, because they are playing with fire. Bob, God is my witness. I'm a Christian man. I'm a Catholic man. I've covered civil wars. My parents are from Croatia, the former Yugoslavia. I would never want violence to erupt in this country. Please don't mistake me in any way. But they are playing, Bob, with some serious fire.
I couldn't agree with you more, Jeff, because I feel the fire within myself.
Bob, I hear you. I hear you. Thank you very much for that call. I really hope these liberals don't know what they're doing. I'm telling you, they really don't. Because, anyway, I don't want to say more, but you don't overturn elections because you don't like the results. You don't bring a duly elected president down and somehow think his supporters are just going to stand there and take it. Like, are these people insane? Do they have any idea of the consequences of what they're doing? I mean, look, if there's a real crime, of course, then there's impeachment, okay. But you're getting them for the sake of getting them. I mean, it's so obvious now. So anyway, I believe the president will prevail. I think Trump will prevail. I really do. I think he's got the truth on his side. He's got morality on his side. He's got the facts on his side. But I got to tell you, now when they're openly wiretapping you like this, imagine being him now. I don't know about you. I would be enraged. I mean, I would be infuriated. So he's got to calm down. He's got to talk to his people, Giuliani, his legal team, and then decide what he's going to do next. But my advice to him is, after this story broke, Rosenstein, gone. Mueller, gone. Sessions, gone. Everybody, gone. Gone. Clean house. It's over. Hey, you don't spy on the President of the United States. This is not Russia, at least not yet. Paul in Burlington, the floor is yours. Go.
Jeff, we'd led to believe that AG Sessions knew nothing about this wiretapping, and if so, he should be absolutely livid. Livid.
Paul, I think I don't know how Sessions didn't know. I mean, he must have known about it.
And
Paul, how do you not fire this guy after this?
Fire him, exactly. How can he sit there at that job every day and be comfortable with what he's done since the day he took the job?
Paul, I got to tell you, I want to see Giuliani as Attorney General.
They must have something big on Sessions.
I think so. He is so compromised right now. I just want to know what it is. We're going to come out. It's going to come out. We're going to know, Paul. We're going to know. But if I were the president, I'd say, listen, I want Rudy. He's going to be my AG. Sessions is out. I don't care what people say. You want to go nuts about it. I want a real Attorney General, and he's not recusing himself. And let Rudy clean house. That's what I would do. Brian, I've got another 30 seconds. The floor is yours. Go.
As I said, I'm a first-time caller. It's really sad. Half the country won't even know what's going on today, and half of them wouldn't even care.
Brian, what do you think? You think the country's going to rally around Trump after this?
I sure hope so. We gotta do something. This is ridiculous. If I were the president right now, I'd say, you're done, Mueller. You're done. Whatever happens, happens. You're done.
I'm with you. No, I'm telling you. Just, look, I mean, fire Mueller, fire Rosenstein, fire Sessions, and just say, let the chips fall where they may. That's it. In America, you don't wiretap the president.
The Kuhner Report is powered by Kelly Financial Services. 888-800-1881. Get the peace of mind that you deserve at Kelly Financial Services. The voice of Boston is you. 680 WRKO Boston, 100.7 WZLX HD2 Boston, an iHeart radio station.